Hey everyone, ready to dive deep into the world of A Christmas Story? Released on November 18, 1983, this film has sparked endless discussions, and today we're uncovering every thrilling detail. If you enjoy this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps us grow. And for more incredible movie explorations and hidden gems, subscribe to the channel. Now, let's unravel the magic behind this cinematic masterpiece. It begins with a sense of warmth and nostalgia, the kind that wraps around you like a wool blanket on a snowy December morning. Set in the fictional town of Homan, Indiana, the film whisks us into the world of 9-year-old Ralphie Parker, a wide-eyed boy with one obsession dominating his entire holiday season: an official Red Ryder carbine-action 200-shot range model air rifle. That's right, the legendary BB gun. From the first frame, we're pulled into Ralphie's vivid imagination, where he envisions himself as a heroic cowboy defending his family from villains, his trusty Red Ryder rifle at his side. Adult Ralphie, voiced by the story's original creator Gene Shepard, narrates the tale with a perfect blend of humor and sentimentality. His voice isn't just background, it's the heartbeat of the story. Through him, we see the world through a lens of innocence, exaggerated childhood drama, and sharp wit. His memories bring the small moments of family life to life in a way that feels both deeply personal and universally relatable. Ralphie's mission to secure his dream gift becomes a campaign of epic proportions. First, he subtly places an ad for the BB gun inside his mother's copy of Look magazine. When that fails to generate the desired response, he writes a glowing essay on the gun for his schoolteacher, Miss Shields, who promptly returns it with a big red C+ and the soul-crushing warning, "You'll shoot your eye out." It's the phrase that haunts him throughout the film, repeated by every adult he encounters. Even a gruff mall Santa who boots Ralphie down a slide with a firm, "Ho ho ho." Meanwhile, the film offers a perfect slice of mid-20th century Americana through its colorful supporting cast. Ralphie's father, referred to only as the old man, is a grumbling yet lovable figure, prone to muttering expletives under his breath and obsessing over his major award, a lamp shaped like a woman's leg clad in fishnet stockings. When it arrives, it's displayed proudly in the front window, much to the horror of Ralphie's mom, whose accidental shattering of the lamp becomes one of the film's most iconic moments. The dynamic between Ralphie's parents is rich with subtext. While the old man battles the furnace in the basement and dreams of turkey dinners, the mother balances chaos with a quiet, gentle strength. She doesn't always say much, but her actions, like bundling up Ralphie's younger brother Randy in so many layers he can't put his arms down, speak volumes about her care and patience. And then there's school life, portrayed with both humor and harshness. Ralphie and his friends Flick and Schwartz navigate a snowy landscape of double dares, icy flagpoles, and bullies like Scut Farkas, a freckle-faced menace with yellow eyes, or so Ralphie claims. The famous scene where Flick gets his tongue stuck to a frozen flagpole after accepting a triple dog dare is etched into pop culture forever, a wince-inducing moment of childhood recklessness. As Christmas Day inches closer, Ralphie's desperation grows. He behaves, he flatters, he hopes. But when he opens his presents and the BB gun is nowhere in sight, there's a beat of heartbreak, until his father points him toward one last box hidden behind the tree. Inside, the Red Ryder BB gun, just as he dreamed. It's a quiet victory, tinged with the kind of joy only a child can fully feel. But in true A Christmas Story fashion, the magic comes with a dose of realism. Ralphie steps outside to try his new rifle, aims at a target, and promptly gets hit in the face by a ricocheting BB. He doesn't lose an eye, but his glasses get knocked off and broken. Still, he covers it up quickly, and the day goes on with a heartwarming family dinner, though not the turkey his father had been dreaming of, thanks to the neighbors' hounds who storm the kitchen and devour the feast. Instead, they head to a Chinese restaurant for Peking duck and a serenade of off-key carols, ending the film with laughter, imperfection, and a new kind of holiday memory. What makes A Christmas Story endure isn't just its humor or iconic moments. It's the honesty in its storytelling. It captures what it's like to be a kid during the holidays, the highs and lows, the daydreams and disappointments, the weird little rituals families share. Every scene, Every line feels lived in. From the flickering glow of Christmas lights to the soft fall of snow on suburban streets, it doesn't just tell a story, it immerses you in a feeling. Though it had a modest release in 1983, the film has grown into a cultural touchstone, celebrated annually with 24-hour marathons and endless quotes like, "I triple dog dare you," and "Fragile, must be Italian." It's more than nostalgia. It's a time capsule of Christmas wonder, told through the earnest eyes of a boy who just wanted a BB gun and got a whole lot more. Released on November 18, 1983, A Christmas Story quietly entered theaters during the holiday season, not knowing it would grow into one of the most beloved and rewatched Christmas films of all time. It didn't arrive with big explosions or dramatic suspense, but what it did bring was far more lasting. Heart, humor, charm, and a view into childhood that feels so real it could almost be your own memory. This is a film that doesn't shout to get your attention. It simply tells a story so honestly and cleverly that you can't help but fall into it. It's funny, it's nostalgic, and it's something people return to year after year, not just for laughs, but for the warmth and familiarity it brings. What makes A Christmas Story so extraordinary isn't any one thing. It's the combination of everything it gets right. The writing is sharp but simple. The humor is gentle but smart. And every scene feels like a window into a slightly exaggerated, but very real version of American life in the 1940s. The movie doesn't rely on big special effects or action sequences. Instead, it creates magic through small, relatable moments. A child's obsession with the perfect gift, the awkwardness of school, the tension of getting in trouble at home, the thrill of snow falling outside the window. The whole film is told through the eyes of a young boy, but narrated by his grown-up self, giving each moment a mix of innocent wonder and grown-up understanding. At the center of the story is Ralphie Parker, a 9-year-old boy living in a snowy Midwestern town. He has one goal this Christmas: to get his hands on a Red Ryder carbine-action 200-shot range model air rifle. To him, it's not just a toy, it's everything. The perfect gift. The key to a better, more exciting life. But everyone around him, his mother, his teacher, even the department store Santa, keeps telling him the same thing: "You'll shoot your eye out." That line becomes the film's most memorable warning, echoing in Ralphie's mind and creating one of the movie's running jokes. The plot follows Ralphie as he tries to convince the world that he deserves the Red Ryder rifle. He leaves magazine ads in strategic places. He writes a school essay full of passion. He behaves, at least he tries. And he dreams. He daydreams in big, bold, dramatic scenes where he saves his family from danger and becomes a hero, all thanks to his trusty BB gun. These fantasy scenes are over the top in the best way, full of slow motion, dramatic music, and big emotions that show how deeply kids can feel about even the smallest things. But while Ralphie is the heart of the story, what makes the film really stand out are the details. His father, often just called the old man, is a gruff, slightly clueless, but ultimately kind character who battles broken furnaces and wins a bizarre major award in the form of a glowing leg lamp that he proudly places in the front window. His mother is calm, caring, and quietly runs the household, even if she doesn't always get the recognition. Then there's Ralphie's little brother Randy, who hates meatloaf, can't put his arms down because of too many layers of winter clothes, and ends up crawling around the house like a helpless turtle. The movie is packed with funny, memorable moments that stick in your mind. A classmate gets his tongue stuck to a frozen pole after a triple dog dare. Ralphie lets a curse word slip and gets his mouth washed out with soap. He stands in line to meet a department store Santa Claus who, instead of welcoming him warmly, sends him sliding down a chute with a firm boot to the face. And of course, there's the moment when Ralphie finally snaps after being bullied too many times, unleashing a wild and hilarious rage that surprises even him. What keeps the movie moving is the voiceover narration, provided by Gene Shepard, the writer whose semi-autobiographical stories inspired the film. His voice adds a special flavor to every scene, not just explaining what's happening, but offering thoughts, reflections, and jokes that tie everything together. It's like sitting by the fire and listening to someone share their funniest childhood memories. with all the charm and exaggeration that comes from looking back with both love and distance. Visually, the film does a great job of creating its setting. Snow-covered streets, decorated shop windows, crowded schoolrooms, and a cozy family home all come to life in a way that feels just slightly heightened real, but with a touch of fairy tale. The colors are warm, the lighting is soft, and the costumes and props capture the feeling of a 1940s Christmas without drawing too much attention to themselves. The production design supports the story without distracting from it, making the world feel complete but familiar. There's also something comforting in the way the movie handles family life. The parents argue a little, the kids fight, things go wrong, but there's love underneath all of it. The film doesn't pretend families are perfect, but it shows that the little moments, like a shared meal, a gift under the tree, or even a ruined dinner followed by Chinese food, can become lasting memories. In the final scene, Ralphie lies in bed holding his BB gun, smiling and reflecting on what he calls the best Christmas ever. That one sentence sums up what the movie is all about. What's most surprising is how this small, modest film became a cultural phenomenon. When it first came out, it wasn't a huge hit. But slowly, over the years, people began to discover it. They watched it on TV, passed it down to their kids, and quoted lines like, "I triple dog dare you," and "It's a major award." Soon, networks started running 24-hour marathons of the movie on Christmas Day, and A Christmas Story became part of the holiday tradition for millions of families. It wasn't forced, it just grew naturally because people connected with it. One reason it connected so deeply is because it feels honest. It doesn't try to make everything perfect or polished. Ralphie doesn't get everything he wants. He messes up, he gets in trouble, he feels disappointment. But he also experiences joy, surprise, laughter, and love. The movie captures what it's really like to be a kid during the holidays, when everything feels huge and important, and the smallest thing can make or break your day. That emotional honesty, combined with clever humor and unforgettable moments, is what makes A Christmas Story more than just a Christmas movie. It's a snapshot of growing up. The snow blankets the streets of 1940s Homan, Indiana, as the warm voice of an older Ralphie Parker draws us into a story that's both his childhood and a shared memory for anyone who's ever longed for the perfect Christmas gift. This isn't just a tale about presents or holidays. It's about the hopes and heartaches that fill a kid's world when the calendar flips to December. And right at the center of it all is one burning desire: the Red Ryder carbine-action 200-shot range model air rifle. That BB gun isn't just a toy to Ralphie. It's a dream, a mission, a calling. And from the moment he sees it gleaming in a store window, nothing else matters. Ralphie's voice, now a grown man looking back, guides us with humor and affection. It's like listening to an old friend share the most important Christmas of his life. He remembers trying every trick in the book to get his parents on board. He leaves magazines open to ads for the BB gun. He tries to casually mention it at breakfast. But when his mom asks what he wants for Christmas and he says it out loud, her reaction hits hard. "You'll shoot your eye out." Said with love but lands like a sledgehammer. The first rejection, and not the last. Still, Ralphie doesn't give up. He believes there's a way. That someone, anyone, will see how much this gift matters. His imagination takes over, whisking him away to fantasy scenes where he's the hero, stopping robbers and saving the day with his trusty Red Ryder rifle. These moments are exaggerated and hilarious, showing just how massive a simple wish can feel to a 9-year-old boy. Ralphie's family life is a chaotic, lovable mess. His father, known only as the Old Man, is constantly at war with their broken-down furnace, spewing nonsense curses and triumphing in small, silly battles. He's gruff, obsessed with crossword puzzles and contests, and not always the best communicator, but he has heart. His mother is the quiet hero of the household, juggling meals, laundry, school lunches, and snow gear without missing a beat. Ralphie's little brother, Randy, is helpless and adorable, buried under so many winter layers he can barely move his arms. Their home is full of noise, clutter, and constant small disasters, but it also feels safe and familiar. At school, Ralphie has two close friends, Flick and Schwartz. Their friendship is filled with typical childhood banter, dares, and a shared understanding of how tough it can be to be a kid. One snowy day, the group gets into a heated argument about what happens if you stick your tongue to a metal pole in freezing weather. Schwartz double-dog dares Flick to try it. Then, in an escalation no child can ignore, he issues the ultimate challenge, the triple dog dare. Flick has no choice. He leans in, sticks out his tongue, and it instantly freezes to the pole. The bell rings. The others panic and run inside. And poor Flick is left screaming for help, eventually rescued by the fire department in front of the entire school. This hilarious yet painful moment captures what the film does so well, taking small events and showing how big they feel when you're young. Everything is exaggerated in Ralphie's world, not because it's unrealistic, but because that's how kids experience life. Fear, embarrassment, hope. It all hits like a tidal wave. Later, Ralphie puts all his hope into a school essay. Miss Shields, their sharp and theatrical teacher, assigns a theme, "What I Want for Christmas." Ralphie writes with passion, certain that his well-crafted words will turn her into an ally. He pictures her standing in front of the class, moved to tears by his brilliant writing, awarding him a glowing applause and praising him for his vision. But when the paper is returned, it's a C+. And there, at the bottom, that phrase again, "You'll shoot your eye out," is crushing. Feels like the world is closing in. Every authority figure, from parents to teachers, seems determined to block the path to his dream. But Ralphie's belief doesn't fade. He decides to go straight to the top, Santa Claus himself. Before that, though, another twist arrives at home. The old man wins a major award from a newspaper contest. When it arrives, it's a large, fragile box that he opens with wild excitement. Inside is one of the most iconic props in movie history, a lamp shaped like a woman's leg wearing a fishnet stocking. He's thrilled. It glows in the front window, a shining symbol of victory. But his wife is horrified. To her, it's tacky and inappropriate. A silent battle begins. Eventually, in an accident, the lamp is broken. The old man is devastated. His wife insists it was an accident, but the tension is clear. Their dynamic is full of this kind of love meets frustration chemistry, real, lived in, and completely relatable. Meanwhile, Ralphie's world continues to close in. On the snowy streets after school, he and his friends are constantly tormented by the local bully, Scut Farkas. With his coonskin cap, yellow eyes, or so Ralphie claims, and maniacal laugh, Scut is a force of chaos. Ralphie and the boys do their best to avoid him, but the fear builds until something inside Ralphie finally snaps. After another round of bullying, Ralphie tackles Scut in a burst of rage. He punches, kicks, and yells every half-learned curse word he's ever heard. The moment is raw, shocking, and strangely empowering. His mother arrives and pulls him off, wiping his tear-streaked face as he sobs from a mix of fear, release, and shame. That night, Ralphie is sure he's in for the worst punishment of his life. But when his father comes home, his mother covers for him. She casually changes the subject and moves the conversation away from the fight. Ralphie watches in quiet amazement. For all the times she said no to the BB gun, in that moment, she becomes his greatest protector. And still, he doesn't give up. Christmas is getting closer. The final, desperate move? Meeting Santa. At Higbee's department store, Ralphie waits in a long line, surrounded by other kids and a surreal, noisy holiday display. The Santa on duty is not exactly the jolly, magical figure from storybooks. He's tired, impatient, and surrounded by grumpy elves. When Ralphie finally gets to him, he freezes. The words won't come out. Santa rushes him along, and Ralphie ends up blurting out something else entirely. But just as he's being shoved down the slide out of Santa's workshop, he remembers. He climbs back up, blurts out, "I want the Red Ryder BB gun." And Santa, with a smirk, responds, "You'll shoot your eye out, kid," and taps his boot to Ralphie's face, sending him sliding down into the pile of fake snow. Feels like defeat. Everyone has told him no. The adults don't understand. The magic he was hoping for seems to be slipping away. And yet, we can feel that something's still building. Something's coming. The story isn't over, not by a long shot. By the end of the first half, we've met all the key players. Ralphie, with his endless optimism and vivid imagination. His parents, who seem distracted but are far more caring than they let on. His friends, his teacher, the bullies, and the strange magic of small-town life during Christmas. The tone has been set. Funny, nostalgic, and occasionally bittersweet. Each moment, no matter how silly or strange, adds a layer to Ralphie's journey. Snow keeps falling softly outside the Parker house as the final days before Christmas slip away. Ralphie's hope for the Red Ryder BB gun is hanging by a thread. Every effort he's made, hints to his parents, the heartfelt essay, even the desperate visit to the grumpy mall Santa, has ended with the same painful warning, "You'll shoot your eye out." Still, something inside him refuses to let go. The magic of the season buzzes in the background, but Ralphie is worn thin. His run-in with the bully has left him shaken but strangely empowered. He finally stood up for himself, even if it meant losing control. And now, with Christmas so close, the excitement should be building. But for Ralphie, it's laced with doubt. He tries to pretend he's moved on, but the dream of holding that BB gun is still alive, buried under layers of disappointment and snow. Inside the house, tension continues to simmer in small, familiar ways. The battle of the broken leg lamp ends not with shouting, but with icy silence. The old man mourns the loss of his major award, while pretending he's over it. His wife, cool and unapologetic, keeps moving through the daily chaos. And Ralphie watches it all, sensing that adulthood is filled with unspoken compromises and quiet frustrations. Meanwhile, Christmas Eve finally arrives. The Parkers head out into the cold night to find the perfect Christmas tree. The streets glow with lights, the wind whistles through scarves, and the town feels like a snow globe, frozen in time, shimmering with nostalgia. They return home, arms full of branches and ornaments, and begin decorating with the messy joy only a family can share. Lights flicker, ornaments clink against each other, and the warmth of the home pulses against the bitter chill outside. That night, excitement returns with full force. Ralphie and Randy are dressed in their pajamas, bouncing between anticipation and exhaustion. Their parents send them to bed with a wink, reminding them that Santa only comes when children are asleep. But of course, sleep doesn't come easily. Ralphie lies in the dark, staring at the ceiling, his heart pounding. Maybe, just maybe, something magical will happen in the morning. Christmas morning arrives like a quiet explosion. The boys bolt downstairs to find the living room transformed, lights twinkling, wrapping paper gleaming, and presents spilling out from beneath the tree. Ralphie and Randy tear into the gifts, laughter echoing as boxes and ribbons fly through the air. The joy is contagious. New toys, clothes, gadgets, it's everything a kid dreams of. And yet, for Ralphie, there's one thing missing. He's trying to stay positive. He doesn't want to seem ungrateful. But as the room settles into calm, and everyone starts admiring their gifts, that sinking feeling sets in. The BB gun isn't there. It's over. Every hope he had, all the plans and daydreams. It feels like they've floated away with the torn wrapping paper. And then, something unexpected happens. His father, calm and almost sly, glances over at him and says, "Did you check behind the desk?" Ralphie looks up, confused. He walks over slowly, peeks behind the cabinet. And there it is, a long, wrapped box hidden just out of sight. His heart leaps. He tears the paper away, hands shaking, and there it is, the Red Ryder BB gun. The very one he's dreamed of. It's real. It's his. In that moment, his father becomes something more than the grumpy guy yelling at the furnace. He becomes the silent hero, the one who understood, who remembered, who knew how much this meant. His mother, though concerned, doesn't object. She lets it happen. Maybe she knows this moment is bigger than her worry. Maybe she sees the way Ralphie lights up. The BB gun isn't just a toy. It's a piece of growing up, a symbol of belief, and a reward for holding on. Ralphie's joy is immediate. He heads outside, gun in hand, ready to test it out. The snow crunches beneath his boots. He sets up a metal target in the backyard and takes aim. He fires. The shot hits, but the BB ricochets right back, straight into his face. It knocks his glasses off. Panic erupts. He scrambles in the snow, frantically searching, terrified that he's blinded himself. All those warnings, all those "you'll shoot your eye out" speeches, they suddenly feel terrifyingly real. But then he finds his glasses. No blood, just a scrape. He's fine. A little shaken, but intact. Still, he decides to cover it up. He heads back inside and tells a little lie about an icicle falling. His mother believes him and the danger passes. It's a wake-up call, but not enough to ruin the gift. In fact, it adds to the myth of the BB gun. It's powerful, it's risky, and it's exactly what he wanted. As the day winds down, the family sits around the table for their holiday feast. But another twist is coming. The turkey, the centerpiece of their Christmas dinner, is stolen by a pack of neighborhood dogs that burst into the house, barking, leaping, and causing chaos. The meal is ruined in seconds. The old man is furious. His wife is horrified. But what can they do? Rather than letting it ruin the day, they adapt. They bundle up and head to a Chinese restaurant downtown, where they're greeted with smiles, a roasted duck, and an unexpected chorus of "Deck the Halls," sung with heart and heavy accents. It's not what they planned, but it ends up being perfect in its own way. Funny, messy, and unforgettable. That's what holidays really are. The day ends with the family returning home, full and content. The boys head to bed. Snow falls softly outside. And in the silence of the night, Ralphie lies in bed, cradling his Red Ryder BB gun with a smile on his face. He whispers that it was the best Christmas he ever had. And for us watching, it feels exactly that way. It's not about the presents or even the BB gun itself. It's about hope, perseverance, family, and those small but powerful moments that define who we are. All the threads come together perfectly. The strange leg lamp, the dare at school, the essay, the fight with the bully, the mall Santa, the hidden gift, the ruined dinner, they're all part of the same story. Nothing is random. Every piece, no matter how small, adds to the emotional puzzle. And by the end, we're left with something far more lasting than just a holiday laugh. It's a story about childhood seen through the lens of adulthood. A memory softened by time, but still sharp with feeling. And the reason A Christmas Story sticks with us is because it captures something so universal. That feeling of wanting something so badly it consumes you. That mix of joy and fear. The sting of disappointment and the thrill of a surprise. The awkward moments with family that somehow become the best memories years later. Ralphie got his BB gun. He got his Christmas miracle. But what we really see is a boy growing up, learning about the world, about consequences, and about love. The adults in his life are flawed, funny, and more supportive than they first appear. The world isn't always fair, but sometimes, just sometimes, it gives you exactly what you need. As the credits would roll, you can't help but feel a warm glow inside. Maybe you see your own childhood in Ralphie. Maybe you remember your own Christmas wishes, your own family quirks. And that's why A Christmas Story endures, not just as a holiday film, but as a window into something deeper and more timeless. You step into A Christmas Story and instantly feel like you've stumbled into someone else's cherished childhood memory, full of quirks, bursts of laughter, and fleeting heartbreaks. At the heart of it all is Ralphie Parker. And if this were a painting, he'd be painted in bold, vivid strokes of hope and longing. From the first moment he appears, wide-eyed, bundled up, staring into a toy store window, it's clear. Every inch of Ralphie carries a yearning that's bigger than himself. That Red Ryder BB gun feels less like a toy and more like a ticket to escape the ordinary. As the camera lingers on his captivated expression, you sense a boy simultaneously anchored by his world and reaching past it. And the voiceover, delivered by the older Ralphie with knowing warmth, makes everything feel painted in candlelight and nostalgia. This Ralphie isn't just playing, he's hoping. And through Peter Billingsley's performance, full of subtle twitches and hesitant smiles, that hope translates into something deeply human. As the film expands, Ralphie steps into emotional challenges that every child knows too well. His innocent campaign, ads stuffed into breakfast magazines, heartfelt essays, polite hints at the dinner table, hits roadblocks at every turn. His mother, who watches him with soft eyes, becomes the first gatekeeper. She's the one who says, "You'll shoot your eye out," imaginable as both protective and practical. Her voice doesn't crack or shout. It's gentle, steady, practical. She worries because she loves, and in realistic ways that feel honest rather than saccharine. She shows us that caregiving often means balancing caution and understanding. There's a magic in the relationships of Ralphie's parents. The old man, grumpy and obsessed with contest wins and the elusive major award, might at first seem like a funny caricature of a frustrated father, but he's a bit more than that. He's the everyday defender of the household, battling the furnace, nursing grudges over broken lamps, and giving in only when something matters enough. Darren McGavin brings a gruff tenderness to the role. He yells and curses, sure, but when he secretly hides the BB gun where Ralphie can find it, you sense layers under the crust. He wants to provide, to surprise, to love on his own terms. Across the hallway, Melinda Dillon's mother moves with quiet grace. She's the glue holding everything together, often without applause. Layering blankets on Ralphie's brother Randy until he becomes a waddling marshmallow, refusing to step in when the old man grumbles, or counseling Ralphie out of guilt after the bully fight. She moves through each moment with calm resolve and soft eyes that say, "I get it." When Ralphie bursts in with fear over the BB gun ricochet, her decision to believe the icicle story shows her instinct for shielding him. Gently, strategically, without ever saying, "I told you so." Randy, so small he's almost a blur beneath piles of winter layers, is the heart of silent comedy and shared innocence. He doesn't speak much, never gets a full scene, and yet every time his arms are trapped under jackets, or he wheels around like a helpless little turtle, he becomes the embodiment of childhood's vulnerability. Through him, we glimpse how growing up can be equally hilarious and fragile, made tender through Peter Billingsley's gentle portrayal and the film's thoughtful staging. Beyond the Parker family stands the constellation of secondary characters who curve the film's emotional arcs. Miss Shields, Ralphie's teacher, is at first theatrical and distant. Peter Billingsley's essay spills out energy, and we anticipate encouragement, applause, maybe even tears from her. Instead, she returns it with a casual C+, scrawling the dreaded, "You'll shoot your eye out" in the margin. That moment, so small it's almost devastating, illustrates Ralphie's first clash with adult expectation. Miss Shields isn't cruel. She's contained by her role. And in her disappointment, you feel the entire world pressing down, gently molding Ralphie's expectations. Ralphie's friends Flick and Schwartz bring childhood friendship to life in ways that are both silly and fiercely real. Flick, who lets his tongue freeze to a flagpole after a dare, screams in pain. But when you see the freeze frame, the terror in his eyes, the helpless yelp, you remember how quickly fun turns into terror at that age. Schwartz tries to help, and spends the rest of the scene shamefaced, worrying he caused it. Their friendship isn't perfect, but it's real, and electric in its silly stakes. Then there's Scut Farkas, with his coonskin cap, sneer, and yellowish eyes, a menace in miniature but enough to create true fear. Ralphie's scuffle with him feels like the emotional high point of boyhood catharsis, a breaking point for anger and bravery colliding. When Ralphie lands on top, barking nonsense under pressure, his words explode into sheer release. That moment ripples out, transforming Ralphie, shaking up the family dynamic, and reminding us how moments of real fear can birth new kind of courage. As the story moves forward, the BB gun becomes an emotional weapon rather than just a prop. The quiet triumph when the old man asks Ralphie, "Did you check behind the desk?" is profound. It reflects everything the father loves: the boy's perseverance, his imagination, his quiet ache. And in that moment, Ralphie's arc reaches its emotional peak. Not just because he gets the BB gun, but because he sees himself in his father. The climactic mishap, one turn of the BB ricocheting and knocking off Ralphie's glasses, lands with weight. He doesn't just flinch, he panics. Tears scrambling, the real possibility of being hurt. Finally, the warnings feel earned. But his mother's willingness to believe the icicle story shows how transformation isn't always about lesson plans. It's about trust and choosing love. Ralphie's journey ends not in explosion or drama, but in snow and laughter, with a house full of family that looks absurdly mismatched and yet unshatterably bound. The stolen turkey becomes a pivot. Their perfect Christmas derails, and what follows, a Chinese restaurant, Christmas carols, off-key laughter, is imperfect, messy, unforgettable, and everything that a family needs in a story. The performances stay graceful in chaos. The old man mouths curse words, but finds soft laughter again. The mother rolls her eyes but softens enough to nurture chaos. Ralphie and Randy lie in bed that night, breathing with contented exhaustion. And then Ralphie's voice, coming through the warm final frame, whispers, "Best Christmas ever." Not the most dramatic choice, not the biggest, but the one that matters. Because Ralphie falls asleep believing, and in that belief we all remember the hush of December nights when everything feels possible. Watching A Christmas Story again, you start to notice that the little details aren't just there by chance. They build a rich, textured world full of warmth and cleverness. Take Ralphie's famous daydreams, for example. Though we don't see the full version, originally there were wild fantasy sequences with Flash Gordon battling villains in space. They were cut for feeling too out of place with the film's simple, grounded feel, but their spirit lingers in the way Ralphie imagines his adventures, big, colorful, and full of excitement. It's like a glimpse into a child's boundless imagination trying to escape the ordinary. When Christmas morning finally arrives and Ralphie fires his BB gun at a metal sign that reads Golden Age, that moment becomes symbolic. It's not just about the danger of the gun. It's like he's challenging the idea of a perfect, nostalgic past. The rusty sign reminds us the golden age of childhood is precious but fragile, easily disrupted, just like Ralphie's own dreams. The scenes with the family at the Chinese restaurant also hold a special authenticity. When Mrs. Parker screams at the sight of the duck with its head still on, that reaction wasn't acted. It was a genuine surprise from the actress. Moments like that, raw and real, give the film its warm, lived-in feeling that makes us laugh and cringe alongside the characters. Even small classroom moments hide little jokes. When Ralphie hands in his essay about wanting a Red Ryder BB gun, he spells Christmas wrong, missing the R. His teacher returns it with a C+ without catching the typo. That tiny slip reminds us that even our heroes aren't perfect, and imperfections often go unnoticed in everyday life. Flick's infamous tongue freezing to the flagpole scene feels scary, but it was carefully staged with safety in mind. The actor's tongue was attached using a suction device to keep things safe. Still, the moment captures perfectly how childhood dares can quickly turn into panic, and how kids feel that rush of pain and terror but push through it. Look closely at the Parker household too. When Mrs. Parker adjusts the furnace levers at the old man's insistence, the settings are actually wrong, hinting at the small domestic chaos always swirling just beneath the surface. These tiny details build the sense of a real family living with all their quirks and flaws. In school, Ralphie's classmates include kids of different backgrounds, a small choice that doesn't fit the 1940s perfectly but makes the story feel more inclusive and welcoming to modern audiences. There's a playful editing trick with a banana in a fruit basket at school. When the camera cuts away and comes back, the banana has flipped direction. It's such a small moment, but it rewards sharp eyes paying close attention. The bully, Scut Farkas, wears metal braces that look oddly modern, more like something from the 1970s than the 1940s. This anachronism adds to his unsettling, off-kilter presence, making him feel even creepier and more memorable. The old man's glasses, broken by Ralphie's BB gunshot, also look more contemporary than they probably should. It's a subtle detail that helps the film stay timeless rather than locked to a single era. And of course, the legendary leg lamp, an unforgettable major award, was inspired by vintage soda advertisements featuring a woman's legs sticking out beside a soda bottle. It's bright, bold, and hilariously tacky, just like the old man's pride in winning it. To keep the magic genuine, the young actor playing Ralphie wasn't allowed to see the lamp until the moment it appeared on camera, capturing his true surprise. Behind the scenes, the author Gene Shepard, who wrote the original stories, wanted the film to stay true to his vision. But as filming went on, he clashed with the director and was eventually removed from the set. Still, Shepard's sharp, ironic voice echoes through the film's narration and spirit, lending it that special mix of humor and nostalgia. The house itself, and the street where the Parkers live, have roots in real life. The exterior is a real Victorian home in Cleveland, and the street name Homan comes from the actual street where Shepard grew up. This grounding in reality gives the story extra layers of authenticity, like a beloved memory turned into a living place you could visit. All these tiny touches, the misplaced furnace levers, the flipped banana, the slightly modern braces, the real surprise reactions, and the lovingly recreated neighborhoods, don't just decorate the film. They bring it to life. They invite us to lean in, look closer, and feel the love that went into crafting this timeless holiday classic. Every frame feels cared for, like a cozy family album full of moments both ordinary and magical. Imagine stepping behind the curtains of A Christmas Story, a film that feels so warm and familiar, it almost seems like it was shot inside your own family's living room. Yet, behind that cozy, nostalgic glow lies a fascinating patchwork of challenges, surprises, and even controversies that shaped the movie in ways most viewers never realize. One of the earliest hurdles was simply recreating the look and feel of 1940s Indiana in the 1980s. The filmmakers chose Cleveland, Ohio, as the primary location, but finding the right houses and streets was no small task. The neighborhood needed to feel authentic, old-fashioned, quiet, and just a bit worn. They settled on a Victorian home on Cleveland's Tremont neighborhood, a real slice of Americana that still stands today as a shrine to the film. Yet even with the perfect setting, the production had to dress the neighborhood carefully, removing modern signs, covering telephone poles, and ensuring no cars from the 1980s peeked into the background. This painstaking work wasn't glamorous, but it was essential to transport viewers back in time. Filming winter scenes in Cleveland came with its own set of surprises. The production was scheduled during spring and summer months, so the snow was entirely fake. Crews used salt, cellulose, and shredded plastic to mimic snow, often dumping it from buckets. However, these substances sometimes irritated the actors' skin and eyes, especially the children. Peter Billingsley, who played Ralphie, once joked that he had a permanent taste for fake snow after filming several scenes. The snow also made movement tricky. Actors had to carefully navigate slippery surfaces, which added an unexpected physical challenge to their performances. Speaking of Peter Billingsley, his journey to becoming Ralphie is itself a tale worth telling. Billingsley was only 8 years old during filming but had already racked up dozens of commercial appearances and TV spots. What's fascinating is that his audition for Ralphie was more than just a reading. It involved improvisation and raw, emotional moments that convinced the filmmakers he could capture the story's spirit. However, Billingsley didn't just act. He absorbed the entire atmosphere on set, learning from the adults around him, especially Darren McGavin, who played the old man. McGavin's performance is legendary for its rough-and-tumble authenticity. He famously improvised many of his curses, weaving in inventive, humorous expletives that weren't in the script, like the now-famous fudge incident where Ralphie's father lets slip a word that isn't fudge at all. Behind the scenes, McGavin enjoyed pushing boundaries and keeping the cast on their toes. His grumpy, yet lovable old man persona was informed by his own experiences growing up in a tough household. McGavin brought not just humor but genuine heart, balancing the old man's irritability with unmistakable warmth. Melinda Dillon, who played Ralphie's mother, brought a calm and nurturing presence to the film, but her experience wasn't without difficulties. The duck with the head scene, where she screams in horror at the restaurant, was shot in one take, and her reaction was reportedly genuine surprise and discomfort. The duck wasn't cooked the way she expected, and her scream was authentic. This mix of real emotions captured the film's blend of comedy and realism, grounding the story in everyday human reactions. An odd but memorable fact about the film's narration: Gene Shepard, the original author and narrator, had a complicated relationship with the production. Although his voiceover adds much of the film's charm and wit, he was known for clashing with the director, Bob Clark. Shepard was protective of his stories and wanted full control, but Clark had different ideas, especially regarding pacing and comedic timing. The tension between them grew, and Shepard was eventually banned from the set during parts of filming. Still, Shepard's voice remains central, his dry, ironic tone weaving through the film, giving it a literary heartbeat. The leg lamp, perhaps the film's most iconic prop, has its own quirky backstory. Inspired by a vintage soda ad featuring a woman's leg next to a bottle, the lamp was designed to be both tacky and unforgettable. The filmmakers were so careful to preserve the surprise that Peter Billingsley wasn't allowed to see it until the moment it was filmed. His wide-eyed reaction to the lamp's reveal is genuine, a rare, unscripted moment of astonishment captured on film. Interestingly, several leg lamp replicas were made for the production, but one nearly caused a fire on set due to faulty wiring. Thankfully, no one was hurt, and the lamp's legacy lived on. Another behind-the-scenes gem involves the classroom scenes. The children cast as Ralphie's classmates were selected for their natural reactions and chemistry, rather than strict acting skills. The "You'll Shoot Your Eye Out" essay scene, for example, was filmed with several takes to capture the perfect mix of hope and disappointment on Ralphie's face. The teacher's reaction, stern but understated, was carefully directed to reflect the film's balance of humor and realism. Even so, the classroom sets were quite cramped, and managing dozens of children was a constant challenge for the crew. One of the film's most memorable sequences, the flagpole tongue-freezing dare, required careful planning. Although it looks painful, the actor's tongue was safely glued to the pole with a special suction device. Still, the cast and crew say the scene's tension was palpable during shooting, with real concern for the actor's comfort. That blend of safety and realism is part of what makes the film so enduringly authentic. Perhaps one of the strangest production challenges was how the filmmakers managed the famous turkey scene, where the Parker family's Christmas dinner goes hilariously wrong. The turkey used was real, but as it was cooked, it dried out and became rock hard. During filming, attempts to carve it were met with resistance. At one point, the actor playing the old man is seen wrestling with the tough bird, adding a layer of physical comedy that was partly unplanned. This unintentional detail only added to the scene's charm. On a more somber note, there were some controversies and tensions surrounding the production's working environment. Some cast and crew members have recalled periods of stress due to the long hours and cold weather. Peter Billingsley, still a child during filming, was closely looked after, but the pressure of delivering a heartfelt performance sometimes weighed heavily on the young actors. Director Bob Clark was known for his demanding style, which led to clashes but also pushed performances to their best. Despite these challenges, the cast formed strong bonds. Darren McGavin became a father figure to Peter Billingsley, mentoring him both on and off camera. The camaraderie between the actors helped create the believable family chemistry so central to the film's appeal. Off-screen stories of laughter, pranks, and shared meals echo the warmth you see on screen. Another quirky bit of trivia: the character of Scut Farkas, the bully with the coonskin cap, was inspired by a real bully from Gene Shepard's childhood. The actor who played him spent hours perfecting the sneer and the eerie yellow eyes that made Scut so unforgettable. Oddly enough, his braces didn't fit the period, being more modern than the 1940s, but they added to his creepy vibe. Lastly, the film's soundtrack and score are full of little surprises. Composer Paul Zaza crafted music that feels both timeless and evocative of mid-century Americana. The use of simple melodies and familiar holiday tunes blends with moments of silence to create an emotional rhythm that perfectly mirrors Ralphie's world. So, as you watch A Christmas Story, beyond the red and green decorations, the snow, and the laughs, remember the stories behind the camera. The careful crafting of time and place, the genuine emotions captured in unscripted moments, the clash of creative minds, and the small miracles of filmmaking that turned a simple childhood tale into an enduring holiday treasure. Every hiccup and happy accident helped shape a film that still feels like a warm hug every December. From the very opening scene of A Christmas Story, there's a gentle pull that draws you into Ralphie Parker's world, a world at once ordinary and magical, filled with the hopes, fears, and small triumphs of childhood. One of the film's most impactful moments comes early, when Ralphie first shares his heartfelt Christmas wish, a Red Ryder BB gun. This simple desire carries a deeper weight, representing more than just a toy. It's a symbol of Ralphie's yearning for adventure, respect, and a way to prove himself in a world that often feels overwhelming. The scene connects immediately because it taps into a universal childhood experience, the longing for something that feels like the key to becoming big. The way Ralphie expresses his wish, nervously and with such sincerity, invites the audience to root for him right from the start. This moment sets the tone for the film's emotional depth, a balance of humor and vulnerability. As Ralphie's narration guides us, we see the familiar frustrations of childhood, the teasing from friends, the doubts from adults, the near misses of childhood adventures. The narrative voice, dry yet affectionate, lets us in on Ralphie's internal world, allowing us to laugh at his missteps while feeling his hopes. It's a storytelling style that feels intimate, like a conversation with an old friend sharing a bittersweet memory. A key scene that stands out for its emotional and thematic significance is the infamous "you'll shoot your eye out" warning, repeated throughout the movie. This phrase echoes like a refrain, a kind of protective anxiety voiced by every adult in Ralphie's life. Yet, it's more than just a safety warning. It reflects the tension between childhood freedom and adult caution. Each time the phrase is mentioned, it brings a mix of humor and dread, capturing that delicate balance children walk between daring and danger. This recurring line is so effective because it's grounded in real-life parental concern, yet it's filtered through the imaginative, often exaggerated lens of a child's mind. The scene where Ralphie writes his essay about the BB gun and presents it at school is another emotional high point. Here, his earnestness clashes with adult authority, symbolized by his teacher's dismissive response and the misspelled Christmas. The subtle humor of the typo carries a bigger message. Childhood innocence isn't perfect, and the adult world often fails to fully understand or appreciate children's dreams. Ralphie's persistence despite this setback resonates deeply because it reminds viewers of the small but meaningful struggles that shape growing up. One cannot discuss A Christmas Story without highlighting the leg lamp reveal. This scene has become iconic, not just for its comedic value, but for what it represents about pride and family dynamics. The old man's exuberance over winning this gaudy major award lamp contrasts hilariously with Mrs. Parker's disdain. The lamp itself, ostentatious and borderline ridiculous, becomes a symbol of the old man's quirks and his need for recognition. The way the film builds up to this moment, through anticipation, the father's secretive behavior, and the mother's escalating frustration, makes the reveal feel like a payoff to a long-running joke. But it also touches on the theme of pride and the little things that make family life unpredictable and funny. Audience reactions to this moment have ranged from laughter to affectionate groans, underlining how well the scene captures relatable domestic conflicts. Another powerful and often discussed moment is the flagpole scene where Flick gets his tongue stuck. This moment works on many levels. It's a classic childhood dare gone wrong. It's a physical comedy highlight, and it's also a testament to friendship and peer pressure. The mix of pain and humor, fear and camaraderie, reflects the complex social dynamics children face. The scene's effectiveness lies in its raw authenticity. It feels true to life, even exaggerated, because it captures that awkward, vulnerable moment when a child tests limits and learns consequences. The film's climax, the Christmas morning unwrapping and the arrival of the much-anticipated BB gun, is emotionally layered. Ralphie's excitement is tempered by the reality of adult warnings and the careful handling of the gift. The scene encapsulates the film's central tension: childhood dreams meeting the real world. Ralphie's careful handling of the BB gun, his cautious promise to be responsible, and the old man's quiet pride all come together to form a moment both joyful and tender. This resolution feels earned because it acknowledges both the fantasy and the responsibility that come with growing up. Interwoven with these key moments are the supporting characters whose actions and reactions deepen the film's emotional texture. The old man's grouchy yet lovable personality offers both comic relief and a portrait of post-war American masculinity, trying to assert control and find pride in small victories. Mrs. Parker's steady patience and occasional frustration reflect the balancing act many mothers perform, keeping peace in the household while nurturing dreams. Randy, Ralphie's younger brother, embodies the innocence and occasional annoyance of sibling relationships. Together, these characters create a microcosm of family life that feels real and relatable. Critical perspectives often highlight how A Christmas Story succeeds by blending humor with pathos, turning everyday moments into something memorable. The film's use of narration, flashbacks, and fantasy sequences enriches the storytelling, allowing viewers to experience Ralphie's perspective fully. Scenes that might seem simple on the surface gain depth when viewed through this lens. For example, Ralphie's daydreams aren't just playful escapes. They reveal his inner desires and fears, adding layers to his character. Audience reactions over the years demonstrate the film's lasting impact. Many fans cherish it for capturing the bittersweet magic of childhood, the imperfect but loving family moments, and the timeless rituals of Christmas. The film's humor appeals across generations. Children laugh at the dares and toys, while adults recognize the irony and nostalgia. This broad appeal is part of why the movie became a cultural touchstone. Overall, the carefully crafted key moments, whether comedic, heartfelt, or both, shape the film's emotional rhythm. They invite viewers not just to watch a story, but to relive memories of childhood's hopes and anxieties, family quirks, and holiday wonder. Each scene layers meaning on top of simple actions, turning a small boy's wish for a BB gun into a universal story about growing up, family, and the enduring magic of Christmas. From the moment we step into the world of A Christmas Story, it's clear that beneath its charming holiday humor lies a rich tapestry of deeper themes and meanings that give the film its lasting emotional power. What seems at first like a simple tale about a boy's Christmas wish reveals itself as a thoughtful reflection on childhood, family, and the social fabric of post-war America. At its heart, the movie explores the theme of childhood innocence and desire. Ralphie's longing for the Red Ryder BB gun is more than just about the toy. It's about the universal experience of wanting to be seen, to grow up, and to find a place in the adult world. His repeated encounters with the phrase, "You'll shoot your eye out," represent the constant friction between youthful dreams and adult fears. This tension captures the bittersweet nature of growing up, where wonder and risk are intertwined. Ralphie's persistence, despite warnings and setbacks, celebrates the stubborn optimism that children carry, the belief that their dreams are worth chasing, no matter the obstacles. Family plays a central role in shaping the story's emotional landscape. The Parker household is filled with both affection and conflict, revealing the messy, loving reality behind the idealized notion of the perfect Christmas. The old man's gruff exterior and his pride in a tacky leg lamp symbolize the complexities of masculinity and identity in mid-century America. His stubbornness and outbursts reflect a desire for respect and accomplishment in a world that feels both familiar and constraining. Meanwhile, Mrs. Parker's patience and quiet strength highlight the often unseen emotional labor that holds families together. Their interactions show how love and frustration coexist, illustrating a family dynamic that feels genuine and relatable. Symbolism runs quietly but powerfully throughout the film. The leg lamp, one of the most memorable icons from the movie, embodies more than just kitsch or humor. It stands for pride, desire, and the awkwardness of adult tastes clashing with social norms. The old man's elation over the lamp and Mrs. Parker's disdain create a small battlefield of values and aesthetics, reflecting broader societal tensions between tradition and change, taste and tackiness. The lamp's placement in the front window, like a trophy on display, also suggests the human desire to show off success, no matter how unconventional it may be. Another symbolic element is the fragile major award itself, which is simultaneously a source of joy and embarrassment. This duality mirrors the contradictions in the family's life, where moments of triumph often come with awkwardness, and where pride and humility intertwine. It reminds us that celebration doesn't always fit neatly into social expectations, and sometimes the things we cherish most are those that defy easy categorization. The recurring theme of risk and consequence emerges vividly in the flagpole tongue-freezing scene. This moment is not just about a childhood dare gone wrong. It's a metaphor for the boundary-pushing nature of growing up. Children test limits to understand the world and themselves, And while these risks sometimes lead to pain, they are essential steps in developing courage and resilience. The scene's mix of comedy and discomfort captures this process with honesty and warmth. Looking beyond the family, the film subtly comments on the social and cultural climate of 1940s America. The Parker family's modest home and middle-class lifestyle reflect the post-war American dream, a time of economic growth, stability, and rising consumer culture. The emphasis on toys, Christmas decorations, and household comfort speaks to the era's burgeoning focus on material prosperity as a measure of success and happiness. Yet, the film doesn't shy away from showing that beneath this prosperity lie tensions and imperfections. For instance, the school scenes hint at educational norms and social dynamics of the time. Ralphie's teacher's dismissal of his earnest essay, especially the misspelled Christmas, suggests a rigid, sometimes uncaring system that undervalues creativity and childhood voice. This subtle critique invites viewers to reflect on how institutions often fail to nurture individuality and imagination. The portrayal of bullying, through the character of Scut Farkas, also sheds light on social hierarchies and childhood power struggles. Scott's menacing presence and physical intimidation symbolize the harsh realities many children face, even within the seemingly safe bubble of suburban life. His character reminds us that childhood is not just innocence. It can be fraught with challenges that require bravery and solidarity. Cultural commentary emerges in the scene set at the Chinese restaurant, where the Parker family's visit contrasts with their usual routines. This moment introduces a glimpse of cultural diversity and the blending of traditions, though it is also played for comedic effect through Mrs. Parker's reaction to the unfamiliar food. The scene subtly reflects the post-war American landscape's gradual encounters with multiculturalism and changing social norms, even if filtered through a humorous lens. The film's setting, both in time and place, serves as a backdrop for exploring broader themes of nostalgia and memory. Gene Shepard's narration imbues the story with a reflective tone, inviting viewers to consider how childhood memories are shaped, sometimes idealized, sometimes bittersweet. The way the past is remembered in the film underscores how personal and cultural histories intertwine, creating shared experiences that define identity and community. On a symbolic level, the Christmas holiday itself represents more than just a date on the calendar. It's a time when hopes and tensions heighten, when families gather and reveal their true selves, and when dreams seem within reach yet are tempered by reality. The film captures this paradox with warmth and humor, showing how Christmas can be both magical and messy. Overall, A Christmas Story weaves its themes and symbols into a seamless narrative that resonates on multiple levels. It's a story about growing up, about family, about desire and disappointment, and about the social world in which these experiences unfold. The film's enduring appeal comes from its ability to reflect real human emotions and societal currents without losing its lighthearted spirit. From the opening moments of A Christmas Story, the film's visual style draws viewers into a world that feels both timeless and deeply personal. The cinematography, editing, sound design, and music work together to create an atmosphere that is nostalgic yet immediate, playful yet heartfelt. These elements don't just support the story, they become part of its emotional language, inviting the audience to experience Ralphie's world with warmth and clarity. The cinematography, guided by Reginald H. Morris, embraces a gentle, naturalistic style that mirrors the film's storybook tone. The color palette is deliberately muted with soft browns, creams, and greens that evoke the cozy, lived-in feeling of a mid-century American home. This choice grounds the film in a specific time and place without overwhelming the story. The camera work often lingers on intimate family moments, using warm lighting and close-ups to capture expressions of affection, frustration, and wonder. For example, the scenes inside the Parker household use soft, diffused light filtering through curtains or the glow of a fireplace, making the home feel like a sanctuary even amid chaos. One of the most striking visual storytelling techniques is how the camera follows Ralphie's perspective. The film frequently shifts to his point of view, especially during fantasy sequences where he imagines himself as a heroic figure. These moments feature more dramatic lighting, stylized camera angles, and sometimes slow motion, contrasting with the grounded realism of the everyday scenes. This contrast not only underscores Ralphie's imaginative nature but also visually separates his dreams from reality, deepening the viewer's emotional connection with his inner world. The use of composition and framing further enhances storytelling. Scenes are often carefully staged to highlight family dynamics or social tensions. The famous leg lamp scene, for instance, frames the lamp in the center of the shot, glowing proudly in the window, while the characters are positioned around it, their expressions revealing their conflicting feelings. This visual emphasis makes the lamp a symbol of pride and domestic discord without a single word spoken. Editing in the film is paced to mirror childhood rhythms, sometimes quick and energetic during playful or chaotic moments, and other times slow and contemplative during emotional beats. The transitions between scenes are smooth and natural, often guided by Jean Shepherd's narration, which ties the sequences together like chapters in a memoir. This seamless flow keeps the audience immersed, as if they're moving through a series of vivid memories rather than watching a conventional narrative. Sound design plays a crucial role in immersing viewers into the world of the film. Everyday sounds, the crackling of the fireplace, the clinking of dishes, the crunch of snow underfoot, are carefully layered to build a sensory experience that feels authentic. These sounds create a rich auditory backdrop that makes the setting tangible. For example, the exaggerated clatter and banging during the chaotic Christmas dinner amplify the humor and stress of the scene, turning ordinary noise into storytelling tools that heighten emotional impact. The film's music, composed by Paul Zaza and Carl Zitterer, is both subtle and evocative. The score blends gentle orchestral themes with traditional Christmas melodies, reinforcing the holiday spirit without becoming overly sentimental. Music cues are often timed to support the emotional tone of scenes rather than overpower them. During Ralphie's daydreams, for example, the music swells with adventurous themes, inviting viewers into his imaginative escapades. Conversely, during quieter family moments, the score retreats, allowing dialogue and ambient sounds to carry the emotional weight. A unique stylistic choice that defines the director Bob Clark's vision is the use of humor grounded in realism. The film avoids broad slapstick in favor of nuanced comedic timing and character-driven moments. This approach is reflected visually in the restrained camera work during funny scenes. Rather than quick cuts or exaggerated angles, the humor emerges from observing the characters' reactions and the small absurdities of daily life. This subtlety invites the audience to find humor in the familiar, enhancing the film's relatability. Another notable technique is the use of narration as an auditory thread weaving through the film. Jean Shepherd's voice adds a layer of storytelling that complements the visuals, often providing ironic commentary or gentle insight. This narration blurs the line between past and present, memory and reality, creating a narrative intimacy that few films achieve. The voiceover's tone, wry, nostalgic, and sometimes sardonic, guides viewers emotionally, enriching their understanding of scenes and characters without overshadowing the action. The film's visual humor also extends to props and set design, which are thoughtfully chosen to tell their own stories. The leg lamp, the pink bunny suit, and the major award box all become visual punchlines and symbols, enhancing the narrative with a playful, almost tactile dimension. These details invite viewers to linger on the screen, catching small jokes and appreciating the craftsmanship behind the storytelling. Lighting choices further enhance mood and meaning throughout the film. Scenes at night are often bathed in soft, warm glows, evoking safety and comfort, while daylight scenes use natural light to emphasize the crispness of the season and the reality outside the home. The contrast between these lighting environments mirrors Ralphie's emotional journey, from the safe warmth of home to the challenges and adventures of the wider world. The film also uses visual juxtapositions to deepen themes. For example, the bustling department store scenes contrast the excitement and chaos of holiday shopping with Ralphie's quiet determination to get his BB gun. These sequences are shot with wide angles capturing crowds and movement, highlighting the overwhelming scale of consumer culture compared to the intimate personal desire of a child. This contrast subtly critiques the commercialization of Christmas without overt moralizing, allowing viewers to feel the tension themselves. One particularly effective technique is the way the film builds tension and release through visual and auditory cues. The repeated warnings about Ralphie's BB gun culminate in a slow, suspenseful build-up that is both humorous and genuine. The camera lingers on characters' faces, the music shifts tone, and silence is used strategically to heighten anticipation. When the final moment arrives, Ralphie receiving the BB gun, the emotional payoff feels satisfying because the film has carefully orchestrated every element to support it. Overall, the cinematic techniques in A Christmas Story serve to create an immersive, emotionally rich experience. The film's visual style and storytelling choices embody the director's intent to capture the wonder, frustration, and humor of childhood with authenticity and heart. Sound and music work hand in hand with the visuals, crafting a world that feels alive and relatable. One of the most enchanting aspects of A Christmas Story lies not just in its carefully crafted script or nostalgic storytelling, but in the genuine chemistry among the cast that breathes life into every scene. From the very first moments on set, the actors developed a natural rapport that made the Parker family feel like a real, imperfect clan rather than just characters in a holiday film. This chemistry created a foundation of authenticity that allowed the humor and heartfelt moments to land with genuine warmth. Peter Billingsley, who plays Ralphie, delivered a performance that perfectly captured the innocence, determination, and mischievousness of childhood. Despite his young age, Billingsley brought a maturity and focus that anchored the film. His interactions with the other cast members, especially the adults, felt spontaneous and true to life. The dynamic between Ralphie and his younger brother Randy, portrayed by Ian Petrella, was especially notable. Their sibling relationship, full of teasing, bickering, and protective moments, felt remarkably authentic, a testament to the actors' natural ease with one another. Darren McGavin's portrayal of the old man stands out for its comedic timing and emotional depth, largely enhanced by his chemistry with Melinda Dillon, who played Mrs. Parker. Their interactions were peppered with a believable mix of exasperation, love, and humor that brought the family's ups and downs to vivid life. Off-screen, McGavin and Dillon reportedly enjoyed a friendly camaraderie that helped them navigate the sometimes frustrating challenges of filming winter scenes in freezing conditions. This ease translated on screen, where their bickering and tender moments felt heartfelt rather than forced. The playful tension between Ralphie and the notorious bully, Scut Farkas, played by Zach Ward, was another highlight that benefited from strong actor chemistry. Ward's menacing yet charismatic portrayal gave Scut a memorable presence, while Billingsley's natural vulnerability made their confrontations feel genuinely tense and engaging. The actors reportedly rehearsed their scenes carefully to maintain a balance between threatening and humorous, helping to keep the tone consistent with the film's mix of warmth and lightheartedness. Behind the scenes, the cast and crew often bonded over the shared challenges of filming a story set in winter. The production took place in Toronto during cold months, and the actors had to perform in snow and frigid temperatures. Despite this, the atmosphere on set was reportedly jovial, with many cast members recalling how they supported each other through tough shoots. Billingsley, in particular, was praised for his professionalism and positive attitude, which helped maintain morale among the younger actors. One of the most talked about behind-the-scenes stories involves the filming of the leg lamp scene. The actual lamp was so fragile and awkward to handle that it caused several mishaps during production, including a near accident with the actress who played Mrs. Parker. The actors' genuine reactions to the lamp's quirky presence added an extra layer of humor that made the scene unforgettable. These little moments of real-life unpredictability contributed to the film's charm, reminding audiences that sometimes the best comedy comes from life itself. The director, Bob Clark, fostered a collaborative environment that encouraged improvisation and spontaneity. Many of the actors have shared that Clark's openness allowed them to bring their own personality and ideas into their roles, making the performances feel more organic. This approach helped capture the natural rhythm of family interactions, full of interruptions, misunderstandings, and bursts of laughter. It's this sense of real life unfolding that resonates so deeply with viewers, turning the film into a timeless favorite. When A Christmas Story was first released in 1983, critics generally praised the film's humor and nostalgic appeal, though it initially enjoyed modest box office success. However, it was the movie's life on television that cemented its place in popular culture. Repeated airings during the holiday season introduced new generations to Ralphie's world, and the film quickly became a beloved tradition in many households. Audience reactions ranged from laughter at the film's quirky humor to emotional connections with its portrayal of family and childhood. Fans have often noted how the film's blend of specific period details and universal themes makes it accessible and relatable, regardless of when or where it's watched. The authenticity of the performances, grounded in the strong cast chemistry, invites viewers to see their own family stories reflected in the Parkers' ups and downs. This connection has fueled the film's enduring popularity and inspired countless fan discussions, memorabilia collections, and even stage adaptations. Long-term fan engagement has been remarkable. The film has become more than a holiday movie. It's a cultural touchstone that sparks nostalgia and warmth each year. Many fans celebrate the quirky characters, the memorable lines, and the relatable childhood experiences that feel both uniquely 1940s and timeless. Events and fan gatherings centered around A Christmas Story have become a testament to the community and joy the film continues to inspire. In sum, the magic of A Christmas Story owes much to the genuine chemistry among its cast, the camaraderie on set, and the way these elements shaped the performances that audiences have come to love. The behind-the-scenes stories only deepen the appreciation for the film, showing how the collaboration, humor, and resilience of those involved translated into a movie that continues to warm hearts decades later. The audience's enthusiastic and ongoing response underscores how a story about one boy's Christmas wish became a universal celebration of family, memory, and the joy of storytelling itself. As we come to the end of this deep dive into A Christmas Story, it's impossible not to reflect on why this film has captured the hearts of so many and remains a cherished classic decades after its release. What makes this movie stand out is its rare ability to blend humor, nostalgia, and heartfelt storytelling into a seamless whole that feels both specific and universal. It's a story rooted in one boy's simple Christmas wish, yet it opens a window into the joys, frustrations, and complexities of family life, childhood, and the timeless human experience of hope. From the unforgettable character of Ralphie Parker, whose innocent yet determined desire for a Red Ryder BB gun drives the narrative, to the richly drawn family dynamics that reveal the messy, loving reality behind the holiday magic, every element of the film feels carefully crafted yet effortlessly natural. The performances bring these characters to life with warmth and authenticity, inviting us into their world as if we're old friends recalling our own childhood memories. Visually, the film's gentle cinematography and thoughtful production design immerse us in a bygone era, using color, lighting, and framing to evoke a sense of warmth and familiarity. The clever use of visual symbols, the leg lamp's glow, the frozen flagpole, the oversized bunny suit, all add layers of meaning and humor, making the world feel vivid and textured. Sound design and music enhance the emotional beats, from quiet family moments to raucous holiday chaos, building an atmosphere that's both nostalgic and alive. Behind the scenes, the genuine chemistry among the cast and the collaborative spirit fostered by director Bob Clark brought a sense of authenticity that shines through every scene. The actors' natural interactions and comedic timing help create moments that feel unscripted yet perfectly timed, making the humor and heart resonate deeply with audiences. The challenges of filming in harsh winter conditions only added to the camaraderie and determination that defined the production, resulting in a film that's as enduring in its storytelling as it is in its spirit. Beyond its technical and narrative strengths, A Christmas Story endures because of the way it connects with viewers on an emotional level. It captures the bittersweet essence of childhood, the mix of excitement, disappointment, hope, and fear, set against the backdrop of a family holiday that's far from perfect but full of love. It reminds us of the power of small moments, the quirks that define family life, and the dreams that carry us through tough times. This cultural impact cannot be overstated. What began as a modest box office release blossomed into a beloved holiday tradition through years of television broadcasts, creating a shared experience for generations. It has sparked countless references, fan celebrations, and even inspired stage adaptations, proving that its appeal goes beyond mere entertainment to something deeply nostalgic and communal. In the end, A Christmas Story is much more than a Christmas movie. It is a celebration of childhood wonder, family bonds, and the small joys that make life meaningful. It's a film that invites us to laugh at the absurdities of life while cherishing the moments that truly matter. It stands as a testament to the enduring power of storytelling to connect us across time and experience. So, if you love this breakdown and enjoyed diving into the rich layers of A Christmas Story, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Your support helps us bring more deep dives and thoughtful explorations into the world of cinema. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel so you won't miss out on future journeys through your favorite films and hidden gems. Let's keep exploring movies together, uncovering the stories behind the stories, celebrating the magic of film, and sharing in the joy that only great cinema can bring. Thanks for joining me on this journey, and I can't wait to dive into our next adventure in the world of movies with you.